In
Who
verse
is the
17, it
brethren
says,
in verse?
and the
Who
Lord said to
is the
me,
brethren when it says
they
from
are
your
right in
brothers?
what
Who
they've
is the
spoken.
brethren?
This is what the Lord says. I will
Who
raise up from
is the
them a prophet
brethren,
like you from
Coley?
among their brothers.
Tell us who the brethren is.
I'm a Christian scholar specializing in theology, and today I want to analyze and look at a recent debate slash conversation, more of a fighting, bickering match between Coley and Korra, the popular Muslim apologist. So with not much else said, I'm going to go ahead and take myself to the top left of your screen through the magic of television, and we're going to get going.
Topics convinced me to be a Muslim. All right, so
What is it? What's your go-to?
oh, my go-to. I mean, obviously it's going to be intra-Islamic, but you're a Christian, so I'm going to be using the Bible. So what if I told you that the Bible prophesizes the coming of Islam and the coming of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and validates his prophethood?
What passage you want to look at?
Yeah, let's take a look at Deuteronomy 18. Let's take a look at the prophet like Moses.
Okay.
Yeah, we can start from 16.
You
just so we can get some
don't
context.
you don't want to start at 15?
Oh, we can start at 15. That's not a problem.
It says, the Lord your God, this is Moses speaking, will raise up for you a prophet like me from among you, from your brothers. It is to him you shall listen, just as you desired of the Lord your God at Horeb on the day of the assembly, when you said, let me not hear again the voice of the Lord my God, or see this great fire any more, lest I die. And the Lord said to me, they are right in what they have spoken. I will raise up from them a prophet like you from among their brothers, and I will put my words in his mouth, and he shall speak to them all that I command him.
Okay, now let's take a look. So in verse 16, it says, for this is what you asked of the Lord your God on Horeb on the day of assembly, when you said, let us not hear the voice of the Lord our God, nor see this great fire anymore, or we will die. So this is describing the people of which this prophet is essentially going to rise up from, correct?
Yeah.
Incorrect. This is a blunder. So notice, I'm going to pull this up on my my thing as well, so you can see it in my logos. So I've got this pulled up on my thing, and we're going to take a look at this. This is, I think, one of their first blunder here. So Deuteronomy 18, we go down to verse 15. So Moses is talking, right? The Lord your God will raise up the prophets, so on and so forth. On the day of the assembly, when you said, let me not again hear the voice of the Lord my God. That statement about not hearing the voice of the Lord my God, that is something that the Israelites in the past said to Moses. It is not saying that this is something that the future people are also going to say. It's not saying, hey, the future people, they're not going to hear the voice of God. It's saying, hey, you remember in the past when you guys told me you don't want to hear the voice of the Lord again? Like, he's referencing something in the past. He's not referencing something in the future here. So nothing in this verse is indicating that the future prophet that this is speaking of, that those prophets aren't also gonna at some that those people aren't also gonna like hear the voice of God at some point. Like, that's just completely irrelevant. So this is a first mistake there.
Okay. Now let me ask you a question. Who is the prophet like Moses?
Jesus.
All right. Now let me ask you this: did Jesus' people hear the voice of God?
Yep.
Okay, so then how can he be the prophet like Moses when verse 16 says that the people that the prophet is going to rise from is not going to hear the voice of the Lord?
Again, it doesn't say that. I explicitly pointed out, and so this is why she asked these questions to try to set up this trap, because if you grant her that, she's going to try to run this trap. But if we just read it, the Lord your God will raise up for you a prophet like me from among you, from your brothers. So this is Moses talking. It is to him you shall listen, just as you desired of the Lord your God at Horeb on the day of the assembly, when you said, let me not hear again in the voice of the Lord my God, or see this great fire anymore, lest I die. And the Lord said to me, they are right in what they have spoken. I will raise up for them a prophet like you from among their brothers, and I will put my words in his mouth, and he shall speak to them all that I command. Never does it say in the future, when this prophet comes, nobody's going to hear the voice of the Lord. Like, it never says that. The let not hear the voice of the Lord, that is referencing an event in the past, which catalyzed the kind of, the position that Moses comes to have, and so on and so forth, right? So this is just completely misrepresenting what's going on in Deuteronomy 18. I don't think that Coley caught this, and so he just kind of wanders into this trap, and it just kind of gets worse from here.
Oh, no.
And God is honoring this. God says, for this is what you asked of the Lord your God at Horeb at the day of assembly.
Cool.
When you said,
cool.
let us not hear the voice of the Lord.
Christianity is not true. Now convince me to be a Muslim.
Okay, perfect. So it's not about Jesus, correct?
No, it is about Jesus. I'm just sticking to the topic.
Okay,
so
I'm
are you gonna
disproving.
because
Yeah,
because
I'm
whether or not
disproving.
whether or not Christianity is
Whoa, calm
true
down, calm
is
down.
irrelevant, right?
I'm not
See,
disproving Christianity. We're discussing the identity of the prophet like
exactly. And
Moses.
so you and I both know that the gospel writers explicitly quote this about Jesus because he is the prophet like Moses, but you think it's Muhammad. So let's see you show it.
Okay, perfect. Verse 16 says that the people that the prophet is going to arise from will not hear the voice of God. The disciples and the people within Jesus's time heard the voice of God according to 2 Peter, therefore it can't be Jesus. Okay, so let's go ahead and continue to verse 18. So verse 18 says that I will raise a prophet like me from your brethren. Now, who is Moses speaking to?
The Israelites.
All right, and is he speaking to the Israelites as a whole, the entirety of the nation as if they are a singular person?
Sure.
No, so the Israelites are being spoken to like as a whole. They're being spoken to as like a corporate group. Like if I turn on my television or get on the internet and I turn into like the State of the Union address by the president, it's not that the president is speaking to me, like it's speaking to all of us and treating us like a singular person. He's just talking to all of us at the same time. This is a minor critique because the argument she wants to get going here isn't going to like really matter much on this, but I think this is just a little bit sloppy. It's like, no, it's just speaking to all of them at the same time. It's speaking to them as a corporate group.
Okay, perfect. So the prophet is going to come from the brethren of the 12 tribes. Who's the brethren of the 12 tribes?
Ishmael.
Okay, so no, this is where things really start to go off the rails, and this is where I want people to pay very close attention. So we're going to look at this passage. This is Deuteronomy 18. So it says, "But the prophet who I will raise up for them a prophet like you from among their brothers." That Hebrew word that's used there, I want us to take a quick look at a entry of that in the Theological Dictionary of the Old Testament, which is a pretty standard, well-recognized academic reference work when it comes to, like these type of issues. So in that entry, and I'll put it on screen so you guys can see it. So this is the entry over here. In occurrences, meanings, it gives first off this kind of meaning that this word can have the meaning of one's own blood brother, kind of just like how you might refer to your siblings as your brother. But then it also says that this word can mean one's kinsman, and in a broader sense, a fellow tribesman or a fellow countryman. And then it gives some instances of that. And then it goes down and it elaborates more that this word is used of compatriots or members of the same nation. The law of the king in Deuteronomy forbids the Israelites to make a foreigner. We're going to talk about that in a second. And then with the same emphasis against foreigners, prophets are to be raised up from your brethren. And it specifically references Deuteronomy 18:15 there. So I've given you an academic reference work that's specifically saying this Hebrew word can be used to refer to one's fellow kinsmen, one's countrymen, fellow citizens, and it specifically lists this passage in Deuteronomy to support that. Now, let's go over, and by the way, this is represented in a variety of translations. So if we go to the NET translation, it says, "The Lord your God will raise up for you a prophet like me from among you, from your fellow Israelites. You must listen to him." I believe the NRSV says something similar. The Lord your God will raise up for you a prophet like me from among your own people. You shall heed such a prophet. So again, the idea is I will raise this up from among your own people. Now, if we go back to the ESV, which I think maybe she was using, it does say brothers, but like that, it has the same meaning. Like that's the idea there. Now, this is verse 18. To indicate that we know that this is how Moses is using this, that it's the idea of your fellow citizens. Let's just go back up one chapter early, right? Let's go back up to chapter 17. So this is Deuteronomy 17, and we're going to go down to, I believe it's verse 14 and 15 here. So verse 14, "When you come to the land that your Lord God is giving you, and you possess it and dwell in it, and then say, I will set a king over me, like all the nations that are around me. You may indeed set a king over you, from the Lord your God, whom the Lord your God will choose. One from among your brothers you shall set as king over you. You may not put a foreigner over you, who is not your brother." This is crucial. I want everyone to pay attention to this. This is like right before the thing that we're debating here. This word, it's the same word that we saw in verse 18, and notice it is being used in contrast with a foreigner. You put the one from your brother, not a foreigner. These two things are set in opposition from one another, right? Your brother, not the foreigner. So we know that this word is being used in this sense of your kinsmen, your countrymen, your fellow citizens, like that reference that I just brought up over here in the T dot, right? So we have very clear indications just shortly before this debated topic in Deuteronomy 18. We have a clear-cut instance that Moses is using this word to refer to someone from their own, their own nation, and he is excluding people who are foreigners. So Moses is telegraphing the sense in which he's using this word. This is crucial. This is important for the conversation we're going to get into, because now Korra, she's not going to be able to run her argument, because her whole argument seemed to be, if the prophet that's going to be raised up, if it is someone who can be brought up from within the tribe of Israel, then there's no problem with that prophet being Jesus. And so her entire argument breaks down. And so if we had just, kind of set this out, it seemed like maybe Coley was familiar with some of this, maybe like other uses of this word in Deuteronomy, but he didn't know what they were off the cuff. But if you're familiar with this and you can lay out what I just laid out, like Korra's argument's dead in the water. Like there's no way to recover this. What she's going to have to argue is that the word that's being used there can't mean just one of your fellow citizens. It can't mean just one of your fellow countrymen, because as long as you recognize that, there's no issue with saying Jesus is the prophet that's raised up. So let's keep going.
Okay, according to Deuteronomy 34, verse 10, can a prophet like Moses come from Israel again?
Yeah.
So why does Deuteronomy 34, verse 10 say that a prophet like Moses will not come from Israel?
Okay, so I want to pause and talk about Deuteronomy 34 for a second, because the second she goes to this, you could have trapped her up. You could have got her, right? And here's why. So let's go to Deuteronomy 34, because it seems like this is what she's wanting to, kind of use. So you could ask her, hey, listen, are you suggesting that Deuteronomy 34, like this is informative of what the prophet's going to be? And it seems like she's going to want to say yes. Then let's say, okay, let's look and see what the prophet like Moses is going to be, right? Like, so then we'll go down to around verse 9. And Joshua, the son of Nun, was full of the spirit of wisdom, for Moses had laid his hands on him. So the people of Israel obeyed him and did as the Lord had commanded Moses. And there was not arisen a prophet since in Israel like Moses, whom the Lord knew face to face, none like him for all the signs and the wonders that the Lord sent him to do in the land of Egypt, to Pharaoh and to all of his servants and to all his land, and for all the mighty power and all the great deeds of terror that Moses did in the sight of all Israel. So, okay, let's look and see what if a prophet is going to be like is going to be like Moses. And we're going to be really strict about this. That means this prophet will need to know the Lord face to face, which Muhammad didn't do. In fact, some of the early, the companions of Muhammad and Aisha denied that Muhammad saw Allah face to face. And this prophet would need to do like a bunch of signs and wonders, right? But the Quran makes it pretty clear that Muhammad does not do signs and wonders. He doesn't do any miracles. So there are numerous Quran passages that depict Muhammad as not doing signs. This includes Surah 1759, Surah 2950, Surah 13:7. So for instance, in Surah 13:7, the disbelievers say, if only a sign could be sent down to him from his Lord, you, O Prophet, are only a warner, and every people had a guide. In 2950, it says, they say, if only some sign had been sent down to him from his Lord, say, O prophet, signs are only with Allah, and I am only sent with a clear warning. So sign, clearly here meaning miracles, that is something that Muhammad did not have. So Muhammad did not see Allah face to face. Muhammad did not come doing signs and wonders like Moses did. And as I pointed out in Deuteronomy 18, Muhammad was not from the tribe of Israel. He's not from the nation of Israel. So there's just no way to make the argument that he was the one spoken of in Deuteronomy 18. So if she wants to go to Deuteronomy 34, we can have a fun time with that. But Coley didn't go there. There's actually one more issue with this that I didn't comment on, or I don't think maybe I picked up on when I heard her say it, but I noticed it in my editing. She says that Deuteronomy 34:10 says that a prophet like Moses won't arise from Israel. But this is just, I think, showing that Korra's like just not good at like reading the text, because it doesn't say that. So in Deuteronomy 34:10, it says, and there has not arisen a prophet since in Israel like Moses. It's speaking in the past tense. So the person who is writing this passage of Deuteronomy, at that time in which they're writing, they're saying, there has not since arisen a prophet like this. That's not a statement saying there will never arise a prophet like this from Israel. Like that, like that it just doesn't say that, right? Like, so this is one of those things, if you're engaged with Korra or someone like Korra, you should go and carefully read in the moment, be like, hey, let's take a moment, let's read the passage in question, because she's just blatantly misrepresenting it. She suggested that Deuteronomy 34:10 was saying that no prophet like Moses would arise from Israel, and it just straightforwardly doesn't say that. It says no prophet has arisen, at that point. That's all it's saying. It's not making any type of future reaching statement. So anyways, let's get back to the original commentary.
To which you will know God face to
That's
face.
just in their days. It's
No,
irrelevant to me.
no, that's completely and utterly false. When we look at the Hebrew, it's very obvious that it's speaking timelessly. It's saying a prophet like Moses will not again raise from Israel that he knew God face to face.
So then Deuteronomy is contradicting itself when in verse 15 it says,
Wait, what did she just say?
When we look at the Hebrew, it's very obvious that it's speaking timelessly. It's saying a prophet like Moses will not again raise from Israel that he knew God face to face.
So then Deuteronomy
It doesn't say the prophet of Israel that's going to be raised up will not know God face to face. Maybe she misspoke there, but I don't know what she's talking about.
is contradicting itself when in verse 15 it says that the Lord your God will raise up for you a prophet like me from among your brothers. And then verse 18, it is
from among your brothers. And who's the brothers?
Yes, from your brothers.
And who's the brothers?
Like me.
And this is what you just say. The word that's translated brothers in this translation has a meaning of kinsman, fellow citizen, fellow statesman. That's what this word means. So it's from your own people. Like, that's what it means.
From among you, from your brothers.
Yes, is the.
So this is I think something that he could have harped on here is from among you. So I think this is what he's starting to press on, and I think this is a good point. I'll give Coley this, is that if it's saying from among you and he's talking to the people, then it would need to come up. This supports the rendering that we're talking about of it coming from a fellow citizen of Israel, because that it would make sense to say it's coming from you if he's talking to Israel, if it's really going to come from some other foreign nation or something like that. So I think that's a good point that he points out there.
Brothers within Israel?
Yes, obviously.
Not according to verse 18.
Obviously.
The Hebrew excludes Israel.
Oh my gosh. So
the Hebrew excludes Israel. That's what she just said. I just read to you guys a well-respected academic reference work on the Hebrew word that's used there, which explicitly says and cites this passage as being an instance in which the Hebrew can mean and does mean fellow statesman. So Korra simply does not know what she's talking about. I doubt she knows much of anything about the Hebrew of this passage, because it is emphatically does not rule out it being an Israelite. And as I had mentioned before with Deuteronomy 17 makes it pretty clear that the brother or their kinsman or whatever, it cannot be a foreigner. So it has to be an Israelite. So she just really messed up here. And I don't think Coley's able to catch her on it.
15.
You're already getting freaked out. Calm down.
Verse 15. Well, no, you don't know where this is going, and I'm just waiting.
Yeah, and you don't know the Hebrew of this verse, so I'm gonna have to lead you into it.
Verse 15. I'm just being consistent with the text. Verse 15 says this. Who's speaking in verse 15?
In verse 15, God.
Moses. You don't even know the text.
Wait, that's not God speaking?
The Lord your God.
That's not God. Wait, that's not God revealing that?
A prophet like me.
Wait, that's not God revealing this?
It's Moses's perspective, you dork.
Oh, okay. So it is God.
Okay, so I will say, I think Korra's being very obnoxious in this, and she's being very arrogant when she is very ignorant. I think I've demonstrated up to this point how ignorant Korra is in this debate. So she's being very ignorant and talking about like, oh, I'm gonna have to explain the Hebrew to you when she doesn't understand the Hebrew. But I will say, even though I understand Coley's frustration here with her, like, I don't think you should have called her a dork. I think this is like, we're escalating the conversation at this point. And I've been in conversations with these type of like apologists. I get how frustrating it be. I have gotten frustrated too. I understand, right? I'm speaking. This is a critique coming from among your brothers, right? Like, I understand how frustrating this can be, but I think we should avoid this type of like escalatory language, because as we're about to see here, this just becomes a yelling match like pretty quickly.
Revealing it. Moses speaking.
You've blundered now. You didn't know that Moses was talking in verse 15?
Wait, it's very obvious that Moses is talking, but this is divine revelation. Do you disagree that this is divine revelation?
Absolutely. I just caught you in this though.
Okay, exactly. So it's divine revelation.
You're saying that the Lord says that he's going to bring a prophet like him. Is that what you're saying?
No, this is divine revelation from God.
Okay, whether or not this is divine revelation from God doesn't change the fact that it's Moses speaking. Like, first off, like, we don't hold to a dictation view of scripture where like God just sits there and says a bunch of stuff and then like Moses or whoever writes it down. Like, there are different views about like inspiration and whatnot, but whether or not you think this passage is revelation from God, that doesn't change the fact that it's depicting the person speaking as being from Moses. And so that is relevant to who are we, you know, who is he speaking to? When he says you, who is that referring to? So I do think this is embarrassing on Korra's part. And she seems to try to pivot from it, but yeah.
Gonna bring
God.
Jesus?
Wait, hold on.
Because
Wait,
that's
hold
who
on.
Jesus is.
Wait, do you disagree that this is divine revelation? If it's divine revelation, it's initially coming from God. But let me watch this.
That
Wait,
doesn't, that's not how Christians view. No, that's not how Christians view. So like you can hold that God inspires like these texts to be written. You can hold that the texts themselves are inspired, or maybe Moses is inspired here and, you know, protected from it. You can hold to that stuff. That doesn't change the fact that it's Moses speaking.
Just watch this. So watch this. Let's disprove
I caught
this.
you in a blunder. Okay.
So watch
It's
this. Let's
okay.
disprove this.
You
So
didn't
let's
know.
disprove
You
this.
didn't know who was
Do
talking.
mere human
Totally
beings?
fine.
Wait, watch this. Watch this.
Totally
Do
fine.
mere human beings send prophets?
No.
Why does Moses say he's going to send the prophet in verse 18?
Because the Lord is speaking in 18. You don't understand
No,
This is really embarrassing on Korra's part, and I understand why Coley is just like kind of like losing it here. So she just said she just depicted in verse 18, I will raise up for them a prophet from among their brothers. So she's saying, oh, how can Moses be saying that, or something along those lines? And now Coley's pointing out, like, this is like in verse 17, it makes clear the Lord said to me. So it's the Lord. It's like the statement in 18 is a recounting of what God said. And so I understand why Coley's like, what in the world? And then Korra is so obnoxious. Like in the Muslim community, if you watch this, you guys need to distance yourself from Korra. Like just this one interaction with her is like so off-putting. Like she's over here cackling up and like thinking she won this when she's just like, her arguments all over the place. She's misrepresenting the Hebrew. Like this is embarrassing, legitimately. Y'all need to just like, disown her from the Dawa community. This is really bad.
Moses is speaking in 18. Moses is speaking in verse 18.
No. And the
Wait,
Lord
so why does
said to me, you don't know the context. And
so
the
this
Lord,
is Moses speaking.
Okay, Korra,
Moses
hold on.
says.
I'm gonna help you.
It's Moses speaking, and he's recounting what the Lord said to him. So it is reported speech of what Yahweh said.
Wow,
Moses is speaking in verse 18 like me. Moses says like me.
You came onto my live and you don't understand how the grammar is working this passage. You just got.
I will like me. It says like you. Like it's right there. I don't know what translations she's reading. I will raise up for them a prophet like you from among their brothers. Like this is clearly Yahweh speaking to Moses, and then Moses is recounting the speech. This is very, I think there are mistakes that Coley makes in this video, like by not pointing out the stuff that I did before, but this is I think really embarrassing on Korra's part.
Caught in a blunder, but do you see that reverse? Oh, poor guy, man. Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question now.
And so now this is, I'm not going to finish this entire video because it's about to go really, really off the rails. Now Korra just becomes one of the most obnoxious people ever. Like she just continually interrupts Coley as he's trying to explain. She keeps like continually interrupts him. I'll play this clip real quick so you can just see how obnoxious this woman acts.
Since you've conceded.
I don't want to mute you, but I want to help you out here with the context.
There's nothing to help. You got caught in a blunder, man.
Understand the passage.
Okay, notice Coley is trying to respond and she just repeatedly talks over him. Like this girl is not looking for dialogue. She's not looking to seek truth. It just becomes a yelling match. And I understand, even though I disagree with Coley on some things, like I completely understand his frustration. Like not long ago, I went up and I requested to come up on a live with some Jehovah's Witnesses, and I was trying to talk with them about like the Trinity or something like that. And the same thing happened to me where someone would like ask me a question, and then like I would probably talk for like less than 15 seconds, and they would start interrupting me, and I got frustrated. And then you get frustrated, and they're like, "Calm down, bro, calm down. Why are you getting mad?" It's like, well, you're interrupting me, so I completely get it, right? Like I'm not trying to be mean or anything. I completely get it. Ideally we should try to keep our cool here, even though I know it's incredibly frustrating.
Why are you freaking out? It's okay. Calm
You
down.
don't understand the passage.
You don't need to
So
get
I'm gonna-
flustered. It's
so
okay.
I'm gonna walk through the passage really quick.
Wait,
so
no,
that we
we're
know
gonna
what it's
discuss why
talking
it's
about.
Muhammad, peace be upon him.
Well,
We're
we'll
gonna
get to
discuss
that.
why it's
We'll
Muhammad.
get to
No,
that. Hey, we'll get to that.
didn't you say you want to focus on the
Yes,
topic?
we do, and we'll get to that right after this.
Okay, so since we want to focus on the topic, let's go ahead and prove that it's Muhammad.
You don't want me to show
Wait,
you how
hold
to read
on.
the Bible?
This guy's
God,
getting
it's
so freaked out.
insufferable.
Let's talk
Insufferable.
about why
No,
this is the
no,
Prophet Muhammad.
No, let me show you.
No, we're gonna talk about why this is the Prophet
I
Muhammad.
don't
Why
wanna
are
mute
you dodging the
I'm
topic?
I'm not because I want to show you.
Now, fair to Coley, I think he's handling himself pretty good here. I think he's being respectful. He's trying to say, like, I want to work through this. Like, he's just asking, like, I want to work through the verse. I want to work through the verse. And she's just she's just continually being obnoxious. I'll play a few more minutes of this, and then I won't bother you guys with the rest of it because it just goes completely downhill from here.
You what this passage is saying.
So
and
you
then I'm
concede you're
perfectly
dodging the
fine with that.
topic. Okay, so
Like,
you're
can-
completely and
Can you-
utterly
wait,
dodging
wait,
the topic.
Can you repeat to me what I just said?
This is so irritating, guys.
you
Look at this
repeat to
guy
me what I just
dodging the
said?
topic.
Okay.
You asked me to prove that this is Muhammad, and now you're not even letting me do it.
So I'm going to repeat what I just said.
This is so
I'm
embarrassing,
going to
Coley.
show you what the passage
I
says.
thought you were
and
better
then
than this,
we're
man.
going to get to that. This,
No,
this
wait,
is, this
whoa,
is what
whoa, whoa, whoa,
conversing
whoa.
with you is like.
I
Yeah,
thought the topic
because
was
you have
convince
made
me
a
to be a
massive
Muslim.
blunder here, and I'm not going to
So
let you
let's
get past
go ahead
it.
and talk about.
We
Wait,
will,
hold on. Let's
as
go
soon
ahead
as I
and
show
talk
you
about
verse 15
why
and
it's
18.
Muhammad. Peace.
Okay, so notice, like, he's trying to say, like, let's talk about the verse at hand. And she just keeps interrupting. There's one more sec. I'm gonna play fine. I'm gonna skip to one more section of this where it was just like so ridiculously obnoxious, and then I'm probably just gonna call it there.
So
Is the
I'm
brother
gonna show
Israel?
you. I'm
Wait,
gonna
hold on.
show
So
you
engage.
verse
Is the
15
brother
and 18.
Israel?
No, I've caught you in a blunder.
Wait,
I'm not letting you run from
engage.
this.
Is the brother
Listen,
Israel?
I'm going to answer that as soon as I
Answer
show
it
you the
now
mistake
instead
you've
of
made.
dodging.
No, this
Answer.
is my life.
Look at
so
this
guess
guy.
what? We're
Answer
gonna
it
go in my
now
pace. We're
instead
gonna
of
do what I
dodging.
want to do. So those
No,
are your
what you're
two
going to do is
options.
you're going to answer
You
the
can
question
either-
instead
you
of
can either
dodging.
accept-
Who is the
You
brethren?
can either accept the flow that I'm giving us right now.
Who
or
is
you
the
can leave.
brethren?
Those are your two options.
Who is the brethren? Coley,
Listen,
why are you dodging?
I
Who is the
want to
brethren?
get there. I don't know.
Dude, listen, like I'm sitting here trying to count the words that Coley is able to get out of his mouth before she starts talking again. And there are times where it can't be more than like 8 words. And that's me being generous. I think there are times maybe it's like 4 or something like that. Like it's like I mean, it's like it's really bad. Like she just keeps asking this, and he's trying to explain. And listen, in Coley's shoes, this is one thing I'll say with Coley in a situation like this, and this is where I've gotten to. If I don't do as many like live conversations or whatnot anymore, the point that I'm with this type of stuff is I will just say, listen, this is how it's going to be. If you keep interrupting me, I'm going to kick you down. And if they keep doing it, just remove them. Like, I just don't care. Like this yelling match, like it's not good for our blood pressure. Like it's not like it's not great for anyone. So if someone's doing this, and to be fair to Coley, he was trying to do this. He was trying to explain, listen, this is how this is going to go. Like, you know, we're gonna have a conversation. We're gonna talk about this. And if you don't want it, I'm gonna mute you. Like he was trying to explain. And even as he's trying to like establish the bounds of how this conversation can proceed, even as he's trying to, you know, like set the boundaries for this, she is continually interrupting him and like not paying attention. So this is just, I completely understand Coley's frustration. I think kind of my like final piece of advice is going to be at this point, just mute her and say, let me finish my sentence. And if you don't, I'm kicking you. You know what I mean? Like, you just got to rip these Band-Aid off. Like, we are not obligated as Christians, we are not obligated in these positions to throw our pearls before swine. And that's, I think, what we're doing here. Like, if somebody's not even going to let you finish a sentence, at this point, we're just throwing pearls before swine. You can kick her and say, listen, I want to have a conversation with you. I'm not going to let you yell and talk over me. You're not even letting me get like 5 words out of my mouth before you interrupt me. If you want to come back up and have a conversation with me as an adult, we can do that. I want to have that conversation with you. But you have to agree to those terms, and then maybe invite her up again and see if she wants to come up again. But like we don't have to do this yelling game. Like, just stop. Like, this is my thing with Christians is like, I think there's a lot of Christians who like they're in these situations and they feel like they have to keep the conversation. They feel like they can't put their foot down. Like, no, put your foot down. Be like, you're gonna respect me. Like, I'm gonna respect you. You're gonna respect me. And that's the thing. We have to show them the same type of respect that we want to get, right? So this is why I would say to Coley, like, you know, you shouldn't have called her a dork earlier because because like if we're going to demand a certain degree of respect from them, we need to give that certain the degree of respect to them. But in these type of situations where I see this, like we don't have to keep like there's this like format of dialogue in this Christian Islam dialogue space where everyone is just okay with it becoming a yelling match, and it's because like we just have to like be willing to walk away from a conversation if it degrades like that. Like we have to show that we're not going to be okay being treated like this. And that's something that I'm trying to incorporate when I do my lives, is just being like, like we have to be the ones who set the tone. I know I'm like rambling a bit here, but I really want to establish this. Like we as Christians, like we have to set the tone for how the conversation is going to go. Like we have to like start by setting the tone of being kind and respectful and giving people like the means to talk. And then that way, if they start to overstep that, then we can say, hey, listen, I've given you your time to talk. I haven't interrupted you. I asked the same for me. And then if they keep doing it, be like, this is your final warning. Like I've been respectful to you. I've let you talk, please continue. And I think if we are giving that energy and they're not giving it back, that's going to show in the recordings. That's going to show in the dialogues. And I've recently had some good conversations, with people who, when I give that energy to them and they give it back to me, we have good dialogue. So this is just, I'll sum this up by saying just like, we don't have to put up with this. Like we as a Christian community, when we're engaged in these conversations, we have to stop acting like this is okay. And then we have to put up with this. Like, no, kick her off, say you're not, being respectful. And then if she wants to do her little, I won dance to her fan club, she's welcome to go do that. Like, let's not degrade ourselves in this way.
Hear me. I want to get
Who
there.
is the brethren?
Okay, like I want to get there. I think that's like 5 words. Yeah, 5 words, and like he gets 5 words out of his mouth before she starts asking this question.
Can you repeat back what I'm saying?
If you want to get there, let's go there right now. Hurry
Great.
up. Come on. Who is the brethren?
Not until I show you the blunder that you made.
Oh my
So,
gosh,
it
this
says
guy
this
is
in verse
getting
15.
so
It says,
freaked
The
out.
Lord your
Who
God
is
will
the
raise you up a
brethren,
prophet
Coley?
from like
Who
me
is
among
the
your brothers.
brethren?
Because
Everybody in the
Moses
comments spam. Who's the
talking.
brethren?
Moses is talking in verse 15.
This guy's muting. Bro.
In
This is
verse
embarrassing.
17,
Who
we
is
get
the
what
brethren?
the Lord said to him. And she doesn't understand this. She
Who is
doesn't
the
see
brethren?
that in verse 15, Moses is speaking.
Bud,
And then in
who
verse
is the
17, I'm so close.
brethren?
I'm so close to being done, Korra.
Literally,
I'm
who is
so
the brethren?
close.
Tell us. Who
I
is the
cannot
brethren?
believe you want to run from this. In
Who
verse
is the
17, it
brethren
says,
in verse?
And the Lord
Wait,
said
who is
to
the
me,
brethren? When it says
they
from
are
your
right in
brothers,
what
who
they've
is the
spoken.
brethren?
This is what the Lord says. I will
Who
raise up
is
from
the
them a prophet
brethren,
like you from
Coley?
among their brothers.
Tell us who the brethren is. Tell us.
And that's the
Quit
blunder
muting.
that she
This
made.
is so
I
embarrassing.
told you.
Who is the
I told you I
brethren?
would mute you if you don't let me get to my point.
Who's the brethren?
Okay, that's about all we need for this dialogue. We're done. Like, I'm not gonna like it really doesn't get a whole lot better from here. So yeah, I wanted to make this for a couple of reasons. One, like the Deuteronomy 18 thing is people go through that a lot, and I hope that what I shared with you in this will help you in your dialogues with Muslims who bring that up. I hope that I don't usually respond to like these kind of internet squabbles, especially with like smaller creators, which I'm a small creator too. Like Coley's bigger than me. But I saw this and I think I clicked on this because I remember seeing Coley, I think I saw Coley on a live stream with IP. And I think if I'm remembering correct, so I think that's why I clicked on this. And then also I'll be honest, I knew that if I did this and I put Korra in the thumbnail or the title, I know you would get here. I knew you would click on this. And so I am some degree of view farming, but I hope you guys found it at least valuable, and I hope that this was helpful to you. And if there's other stuff out there that you would like me to respond to or do like criticisms of or whatnot, make sure to let me know. Thanks everybody for watching, and have a good day.